Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you joining us on short notice, as we've also put this presentation together on short notice because of all the unfolding events and everything changing day to day and coming at us here. We did also experience a little technical difficulties where Carly, our main presenter, was not able to log in to GoToMeeting, but she is on the phone and she will be presenting, but bear with us as we change slides via, her telling me what to do and me doing it. So if it's a little clunky, that'd be why, but we're rolling with all these things. I think GoToMeeting posted that they do have some outages or some, overtaxing of their system. So that happens in these times of everybody scrambling to do video conferencing. But let's go ahead and get started. So we have a good presentation for you today. We're looking forward to it. I would like to introduce our team here. So starting with Carly, who is on the phone, and I'm only going to probably keep video on for a little while and while I'm talking, and then I'll turn it off because I find it's a little bit distracting when other people are talking. But anyway, just wanted you to see who we are. And to start with, we have Carly, who is our senior consultant and fundraising strategist. And she has over 20 years of experience in the nonprofit industry. She's worked with a variety of organizations, large and small, national and local. She's been essential to the fundraising strategy for events and peer-to-peer programs and donor stewardship for organizations such as Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, Operation Homefront, the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America, American Cancer Society, Heifer International, and other local charities in the Austin area. So we are lucky to have her expertise here today with Zuri Group. And we also have Jordan Rhodes, one of our client success managers, and he's a member of our client success and support team. He's been supporting Big Brothers Big Sisters affiliates for the last 6 months here with Zuri Group. Prior to Zuri Group, he worked for Apple for nearly 5 years. And his expertise in hardware and software applications is a huge asset to Zuri Group. And he will be weighing in today on some of the more technical aspects of the presentation. And my name is Kim Everett. I am the Director of Client Success with Zuri Group. I'm also a Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Oregon board chair and a big sister of over 10 years. So I have great investment in your mission and the mission of serving youth. So we thank you for everything you do, and we appreciate all you do. And Zuri Group is here to support you. And to that end, I just wanted to also mention, for those of you who don't know us, Zuri Group is a full-service strategy, consulting, and technology firm dedicated to serving nonprofits. We only work with nonprofits. We help leverage technology to build better relationships with constituents. So that could include, not just software or technology platforms, but also strategy consulting, and we are technology agnostic, so we can really help on any platform. We've done Salesforce integrations, we've worked with Classy and Rallybound and Luminate Online. We have pretty much experts in any of the main technology and fundraising software platforms. We are, I just see a note here from someone that says, I'm not showing any slides. So let me get that figured out here. One moment, please. Sharing, show screen. Let's see if we are screen of monitor 2. How's that? We showing slides now? Okay, great. Thumbs up from Jordan. Hey, this video thing is working. Okay, super. Thank you for that little notice there. Okay, so now you can see our slide here, and now you can see our slide about our group here. And there's Carly. Okay, and then just another note I wanted to share is that we do have a long history, Zuri Group does, of supporting Big Brothers Big Sisters. So we've been a technology partner for over 10 years, and about 10 years or so ago, we actually, I think it was more like 11 now, we started working on various projects. And then about 4 years ago, when Blackbaud announced that Sphere was going to be sunsetting they were sunsetting the product, we came to the national office and proposed a solution partnering with Engaging Networks software platform to put together a package that would replace all the functionality of Sphere. So whenever you hear that term Zen, that is referring to the partnership between Zuri Group and Engaging Networks. And we have over 60 affiliates. I think we're up to 62 now on the Zen platform, which is a combination of website and then the fundraising software. So this webinar is going to focus a little bit, we're going to talk more broadly about Bowl for Kids' Sake and fundraising and how you can make these events virtual. But we're also, some of the technology side is going to be talking specifically about Engaging Networks and how to implement it there. But just know that if you're not currently an Engaging Networks client or a Zen client, that these strategies all still apply, and we could help you implement them on other platforms. Okay, so with that all being said, that was like the longest intro ever. But anyway, now I'm going to turn it over to Carly, and we are on the before we start slide, and we will go from there.
Great. Just want to do a tech check. Kim, you can hear me, right? So then I'll assume that everybody can hear.
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. And one other thing, do you think it's advantageous that we record this meeting for those Big Brothers and Big Sisters affiliates who potentially were not able to log in or might have to watch it later?
Yes, this session is being recorded, and so we're good there. And also, you also reminded me of a house. We do have everybody on mute, but if you have questions, please post them in the chat in your GoToMeeting console.
Wonderful. Well, then I'll take it away. Hi, everybody. My name is Carly Samuelson, and Kim gave me a very, very illustrious intro that I was listening to and feeling pretty excited. So thank you very much for that. And so you know who I am and my background, and that I've been a peer-to-peer fundraising professional for my entire career, in the position a lot of times that you all are finding yourself in now. However, before we start, I want to take just a moment, because obviously we realize that you're sitting here with us today because these are unprecedented times for the entire world, unlike anything we've probably ever seen right now. So I know that in the matter of what I'm calling a week, but other people call days, it doesn't at this point, our lives have personally and professionally been upended in the past week. And so I first want to commend you for being here and listening today, because that means that you are dedicated to your mission during this critical time, because there's a lot of things going on and everything is uncertain, and we don't know what's going to happen yet or next. But what we do know is that we come together with a shared mission and a shared knowledge and a shared belief that what we do really, really makes a difference. So I want to thank you first and foremost for taking the time. And I also want you to know that we're here with you. I know exactly the shoes that you have been in, having to pivot and go right when you thought you were going to go left, and everything that's coming at you at this time. So we're extremely, extremely aware and compassionate to everything that you've got going on. And we really, really just want to be here to support you, which is why we are hosting this webinar today, which is about how to turn your virtual event or your peer-to-peer bowling event into a virtual event. So I will flip, or Kim is going to take control of the slides to our to the next thing. Most likely over the past week, you have been presented with a couple of different options. So I'm going to show you what those options might have been. First and foremost, you probably thought maybe I should cancel my event. You thought, what about a postponement? And maybe you've already kind of went down the virtual path. I know there are other options for you here because I've been in your shoes and I've actually managed fundraising budgets where something couldn't happen and now all of a sudden there's a big gaping hole where money didn't come in. So you're faced with a decision to make, and this is where we sit right now. First and foremost, we do want to say any directive from Big Brothers and Big Sisters National needs to be followed, whatever they are suggesting. They know the industry as much as you do, and they're making decisions on your all's best efforts. So I'm not sure. I know you've had a call yesterday with them, and so hopefully some of this stuff is giving you great options for alignment with what they've said. But please know that if they've given you a directive or if they've said something that they think is in the best interest of the organization, go ahead and do that. So here you are sitting at your stoplight. This is what I thought of when I made this slide. And what do? I'm sure you could fill these buckets, this pro and con bucket, with way more than I've filled it. But I looked at it from the same perspective that y'all are looking at it right now and came up with just a couple of top level things. So you can follow it down. There are pros and cons to canceling your event for sure. It might be the right thing to do for your area, for your community, and that's an okay thing to do. You know, a downside to that is where we're going to put that money and where we're going to raise that money later. Same with postponement. You might think, let's hit the pause button because we could do this in a couple of months. Again, it is a great opportunity. In a couple of months, our hope is that we're going to be able to go back to supporting those local bowling alleys. We're going to have our sponsors giving us and bringing us foods, and we're going to be able to really, really come back and celebrate this. And that might be a very possible thing too. You all also, however, though, are committing to something in the future. If you say you're postponing, it means that your constituent base is probably going to look for that to come up later. So in my opinion, when you postpone, it means it has to happen. And I'm sure we're all on the same page there. But here is the third option, which again, maybe you've decided to do, or maybe you're wondering is, could this be virtual? And what we're here to tell you today is that Bowl for Kids' Sake is one of, I've seen a lot of fundraising programs, but Bowl for Kids' Sake is one of these programs that I immediately ran to and said, this could easily be a really, really amazing virtual event. This could be something that pulls us together in a time of uncertainty. This could be something that gives people a creative outlet to do with their children at home when they're looking for things to do. It's going to give us something to look forward to. And while it might not be conventional, it might not be the way it's been done for many, many years, this is an opportunity to step into this new world. And it's worth a shot, right? That's what I said when I thought about that. So on our next slide, we have, I created 4 buckets that we're going to talk through today that are areas that you should assess as you are considering, can my Bowl for Kids' Sake event be virtual? There's a technology, messaging, fundraising, and the use of social media. So Zuri Group doing what we do best, we're going to jump right into that technical portion. And I am going to turn it over to my esteemed colleague, Jordan Rhodes. Jordan has already been working in the virtual world. This is his time to shine. And hey, Jordan, why don't you take it away and show everybody what you got for him?
Thanks, Carly. So first off, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Southwest Michigan for coming up with the idea of having a virtual bowling game on their website. What Kim is showing here is actually something a little bit different. If you could go to the slide that's on the next slide, it will show just a picture of what the game is like. And now Alex from our team and Jeff from our team and worked with Avery to make this game possible. And what it is, it's a very simple game. You know, it's something that you can do for fun to just kind of still explore the realm of bowling without actually bowling. And you know, take a screenshot of your page and then send it over to Bowl for Kids Sake, or send it, you know, share it on social media saying that, you know, I bowled for, you know, Southwest Michigan today and this was my score. And I felt very comfortable with this because it actually made me a much better bowler. But that's, you know, that's everybody's, for everyone to decide. The next question I think everybody might have is, how do you implement this? Well, actually, Southwest Michigan has made it possible for everyone to take part and use the same link. So nobody has to set this up on anybody else's website. We can all benefit from this one page, and we will be sharing that page out to you guys shortly. And again, seriously, huge shout out to Southwest Michigan. It was really awesome for them to, you know, to think outside the box and kind of get this whole ball rolling with virtual bowling. If you want to, we can still set it up on your page or help you set it up on your page. And there will be some directions to do that on our knowledge base later today. It's pretty simple, but you know, if you don't need to, you know, you don't really have to. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was live streaming. Now, we as a society, we've come up with these technologies like Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and YouTube Live, where you can literally just take your phone and hit go live on Facebook, and then you can start talking with people that are a part of your community. And this is something that I want to encourage you guys to do. Yeah, Kim, if you could go to that website again. This is something that I want to encourage you guys to do to rally your troops, if you will. You know, the benefit behind this is that we can actually help you embed your Facebook Live link on your page of your Bowl for Kids Sake, and they can watch you right here. From that, they can actually, you know, we have, you know, pay your pledge right here, so you can actually donate, or they can donate while they're watching you. You know, it's something that's very simple and really really intuitive for today's, you know, social distancing. Unfortunately, there are some limitations if you're going to go with the YouTube Live route. You can go live on a desktop, but if you try to do it on mobile, you have to have 1,000 subscribers on your account. So that's probably not an option that you guys should pursue. But Facebook Live and Instagram Live, both of those we can embed and help you embed this on your Bowl for Kids Sake page. Again, there will be a knowledge base on this as well later today. Thank you. And I'm going to pass it right back to Carly.
Well, thanks, Jordan. Isn't that fun and exciting to see? I got really excited. I haven't bowled yet, but I think eventually I'll get down to that. I do also want to thank Jordan and also Engaging Networks for really working behind the scenes and quickly to come up with these, you know, or not come up with, but really kind of pivot from something that is, you know, how do we do this, to an actual, in reality, you can now do this. Engaging Networks has the opportunity that you can link that site to your page, your fundraising pages, or if as an affiliate, you decide you'd like to host a bowling fundraiser, there's opportunity for us to create a homepage for you and, you know, make a very simple background, and you can actually still host your events and you can just have it as a community gathering. So the point of showing us that technology is the piece is that this is where we are here for you, and this is where we are able to come in and really, really stand with you in whatever your needs on both the platform and also for, you know, your fundraising. So thank you, Jordan. Let's talk a little bit about messaging. That's our next bucket and our next slide. Once you've made the decision to go bowling, to bowl virtually, to host something like this, and you know, in whatever form or fashion it is going to become, The next step is obviously, how are we messaging this? And I'm sure you all had a multitude of questions, which we are going to do a question and answer at the end, I should say. So write them down and stay tuned, send them our way. But what is that messaging? How do we do this? When do we do this? And we're all sort of navigating that world together. I was just on a call with another organization that said, this is our regroup week. This is our week to get set up, to adjust, to figure out to navigate this new world. Next week, we're going to strategize. And I liked that a lot, because it's definitely a great way to prioritize what you have going on. Take care of what's going on with you first, get yourself set up, and then figure out the messaging. So you don't need, point being that, saying you don't need to start this today. You don't need to start this tomorrow. And you probably won't be able to. But this is a great opportunity for you to start thinking about what you're going to do and how you're going to frame that. I put up some who, what, when, where, hows for you to follow, your guidelines. To once you're ready to spread this message, once you're able to share the good news that we are still going to be able to bowl for kids' sake, here's some guidelines. So who do you do that to? This is everybody in your community. Whether it's best for your community to stagger communication, meaning you take it from starting with talking to your board members first, then your top fundraisers, your stakeholders in the event, and then down to the event sponsors and on to the participants. If that's how you want to take it, or you can figure it out. And you'll know your group best, how you should be presenting and positioning this. But you want to make sure that you've got a great checklist of all of these people that you're going to need to let know about this. Not just because of the change and because they're key drivers of your mission, but more importantly, so that you can get them on board. Because not only are your connected and essential community to this fundraiser going to be needing to support that, they're also going to need to be your bowlers. They're going to be the people that are going to push this out and are going to rally their masses. And so you want those stakeholders to know what's going on. The message, what is it? What is that message? Still TBD, I would say, in today's environment. But what I did was write a really quick, just came to mind comment on how to start this. Obviously, there's more that needs to go into this, but a simple, listen, we're going virtual. We know that this is a really, really hard time, and we want to give you all something really fun to look forward to. And so here's what we're going to do. I think everybody understands right now that there's a lot of uncertainty, and there's nothing sure, or nothing is what we think happens today might not be what happens tomorrow. Everybody's going to understand that, but they're also going to rally around your specific mission. When do you do it? As soon as you can, as soon as you're ready. But you want to make sure that your messaging, everything is fully thought out. It's written. It's clear and concise, and it's easy to follow, and it gives people, much like coming to an event, you'll want to set up all of that communication in advance. And where are you going to do this? You're also going to do all of your communication everywhere else you normally would. So your website home pages and any pop-ups, you're going to have to evaluate that and say, what's here now? How do we change it? How do we input our new message? You can also change the event pages and the fundraising pages for Bowl for Kids' sake. You're going to be able to update pages. I think retroactive pages will not be able to make a change, but you can make a change for anybody that signs up once you've decided to go virtual. And then what you can do for the people who've already have fundraising pages is say, I suggest that you go ahead and put this wording on the page that's already been created. Kim, did you lose me?
Nope. Oh, I can still hear you.
You can still hear me. Okay. Jordan said, did you lose her?
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, but I did actually, I wanted to pipe in with a couple of things as well in here on this slide.
Yeah.
So it's fortuitous that you checked because I didn't want to interrupt you. So one thing is that the national office sent out an email today that said templates of sample letters to fundraisers are in brand folder. So you might find some relevant letters, with messaging. I'm not sure if that messaging will be that the event is canceled or postponed, or if that messaging will be more about, changing your event. But I'm assuming it's good messaging that you can tweak to your advantage. And then the other thing I wanted to say, and maybe Carly just hadn't gotten here yet, but the peer-to-peer fundraising in general is high touch. Opportunity or high touch program to run, and a virtual one is no different. That it's all still pretty high touch. So there are tools in Engaging Networks to use to automate some of the, we can do some milestone emails or some automated messaging out of the platform that might be helpful. But also, it might be worth the time to call some of these people. This is all coming at us so fast. Maybe it's worth the time to call your board members and your team captains and your sponsors and say, hey, we're going to switch this up. We're going to make it a virtual event. And here's what we're thinking. Are you still in? What can we do? Can we give you some more advertising online to make it still worth your while to be our sponsor? Or, hey, board members, can you lead the charge by posting your bowling scores from the virtual app online? Or, things like that, like really trying to rally the troops, if you will.
Thanks, Kim. I appreciate that so much because I absolutely love and adore a phone call. And what everybody is craving right now is outreach and socialization, I guess. And so phones are the way to go these days. I think everybody would at least pick it up or respond to a text. So please call people. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing when people get phone calls and you talk on the phone. I love that. Thank you very much. Okay, and then I did say, what's the how? Make it fast and fun and impactful, mission forward, and we've started that. But the next two slides are really going to be, how are you going to do this? Kind of. Let's look at fundraising. I have a note here. Once that this is where y'all are going to really, really shine, and I'm going to give you some great tips and tricks to make that happen. Your fundraising is what you do all the time, but you never do it during something like this. But as I'm a fundraising professional for my entire career, you all are fundraising professionals your every day of your life. And so asking people to support what's going on, whether it be virtual or in person, it's really not different. It's just all in about how you do it. You have to remember that at the end of the day, that you're the voice for your mission, and you are going to ignite excitement and passion in whoever you talk to about it. And, what is the amount of money that's going to be raised? Is it what we budgeted for down the line? Are we going to be able to make the same impact virtually? These are all unknown questions, but everything's unknown at this time. But what you guys know how to do, just like I know how to do, and every fundraising professional knows how to do, is to do these things that I have on this slide that are going to make this a great event. So you're building a virtual community. You guys already have a wonderful community in Big Brothers and Big Sisters, but right now community is needed more than ever. And this is your ability to build that virtual community. Perhaps it will not go as far as beyond your already supporter group. Maybe it will go viral in your state, or maybe it will, open up avenues that have never been there before. But you're giving the opportunity to build that. And as a fundraiser, doing fundraising for a good cause, that's a really, really fun thing to do. It doesn't have to be in person to build a community. It can be built online. You're going to be encouraging action, because we have a lot of people right now just sitting around and looking for something to do. I love this picture of pyramid, and I chose this for fundraising. for a specific reason, because here's what's really cool about virtual events that perhaps a in-person event can't do, and that's encourage more participation because everybody can do this from their home. So in addition to looking at how are we going to get our bowlers to raise money for our cause, now it becomes how are we going to get our bowlers to set up their own virtual bowling alley or their own virtual event. This could really be an opportunity where using a pyramid scheme really comes into great play. It starts with that one person that you have registered, and then they have an entire network of people underneath them that are also looking for things to do. And so why not just, instead of saying, I'm going to bowl and give me money, why don't you now say, I'm going to bowl, why don't you bowl with me? It's a really, really fun opportunity. Obviously, the donation getting is still a very important part of this process, but we're sort of saying at this point, we don't know what that's going to look like. Why don't we just make this fun? This is a great opportunity, or this is a necessary opportunity, and you guys, this is where y'all really shine as fundraisers, is relaying your mission. And I love what Big Brothers and Big Sisters does for our country. It is a very, very needed tool right now. I was going to say resource. I should have said resource. It's a very needed resource. And by hosting a virtual event, by giving the community an online opportunity to come together, you are saying that supporting at-risk youth is a priority now more than ever. That is a message that needs to be heard. And I promise you, it's a message that's going to be supported by your constituent base. So after we get through this moment of uncertainty, we're going to settle into a normal, and then that is when that message is ready to be spread. You guys do it the best, and you know it the best, and so this is a great opportunity to do it. And then, because this is my general mantra in fundraising and in life, be the brightness during a time where looking forward to anything is really hard. And I think that whether this was a whether we're pre-corona, I would say pre-coronavirus, post-coronavirus, who knows what that's going to look like. But as fundraisers, we really need to strive for being that moment of hope and inspiration, because hope and inspiration is what drives the donations. And so this is an opportunity to be a bright spot in somebody's day. This is an opportunity to give your constituents something to look forward to. And it's an opportunity for you as a community, really, really great, solid community, to come together and support people who at this time and always really need the help. Let's dive into the last part of our pie, a last piece of our pie before we open it up to questions, and that is social media. So we were talking about your live streaming earlier. We're making a tech sandwich here because we started off with technology and now we're going to finish with technology. Social media obviously gives us a wide variety of tools to live stream. There's no shortage of ways that we can get onto our computers and tell the free world what we're thinking about. And that's what we love about social media. And now is the time for us to use that. So social media makes it really easy for live streams to occur. And so that part of the process is taken out of it. Engaging Networks and Zuri Group here, we're working on ways that we can help you transmit your live stream. And those will be getting better and better. And we're always here to help you do that as the days and weeks go by. Here's how to use it in social media. I have some things that I wrote down that I think are great specifically for both for kids' sake, but they're also really, really good for just in general during this time. Creating a hashtag. If it's around your event, if it's bowling for kids' sake, create that hashtag, because there's always a chance on social media that something could get picked up and go crazy. And we all have heard the stories of how Ellen sees something on TV and loves it so much that she puts it on her show. Her show's not going on right now, unfortunately, but she is up on social media all the time spreading good. So you never know who's going to see it. Create that hashtag. make it available in every place you possibly can, and have fun and do your things, but know that there's potential. You never know who's watching. And I love that part about social media. I love that part about peer-to-peer fundraising. You never know who's raising money for you and what their potential holds. The same thing is true in social media. Encourage at-home bowling tournaments. I wrote down something as I was getting ready for this call. Wouldn't it be really fun to encourage your constituents to create an at-home bowling alley, maybe with a name or with, a refreshment stand or whatever it is. And obviously bowling at home, you never know. This could also open up an opportunity for creative ways to bowl in your home, or let the kids figure out a way to create a bowling alley in the guest room, and then we'll all come in and bowl. Things like that are really, really fun. And as a Big Brother and Big Sister affiliate, one of the cool things you can do is go to their quote unquote bowling alley. You can't see my air quotes, but visit their bowling alley, pop in and say hi while they're live streaming, and award top prizes. Maybe say, I'm going to give a top prize to the most creative bowling alley. And that is definitely something that's as well. If you don't, we're talking a lot about live streaming, but this is also a great opportunity to know that if your constituents are a little afraid of live streaming, that's okay. Sometimes I am too. They could also just post videos with your hashtag. They could post photos with your hashtag. They could interact on Facebook, Instagram, however you want it to do. Just set the perimeters and know that there's a lot of different opportunities out there for those less tech-savvy people that maybe would be afraid of a live stream. I mentioned that you should attend your events as much as possible, because popping in and maybe even, grabbing their personal fundraising page and popping it up on that live stream is what they need to help get the people who are watching them bowl to donate. And that's a really, really great way that you as the fundraiser can be a sense of a help during this time. They might not be thinking about that. On your bowling events, or as these bowling events are happening, it's going to mean that you, as your social media people, are going to need to be watching this. So keep a lookout. Go on your social sites and shout out to great bowlers, shout out to, share videos of stories, and really kind of connect and show people what people are doing. This is the part of what we're doing here, what you're going to do here with your virtual event, but the sky's the limit. And you never know what to do. I also have a little note written here that sort of says we all have Gen Yers maybe living around us, Gen Zers, millennials. I don't know the difference, but younger kids are way better at social media than most of us, including myself. So if I were hosting a bowling event, I'd find a local teenager. They'll be my live streamer. Not everybody will have the opportunity to do that, but it's certainly something that you can write down in your plan of action. Find that social streamer for you. Don't necessarily stop your incentives just because they're not in attendance. Still incentivize your top fundraisers, your top teams. Add in more, like we were saying, make it creative and award the top bowling alley, award the highest score. This is your opportunity to really, really get fun with it. And be creative and make this a really exciting moment. And then most importantly, shower your top fundraisers, your sponsors, the people who help put this together with all the love as much as possible, as often as you can. Because people, we know this even pre what's happening right now, people love social media recognition, and especially in the event environment, in the virtual environment, that is going to need to be even more so pronounced. And I think it would be really, really fun. So social media has a lot. We probably could host an entire webinar on social media, and but those are some great things to get started. We've come to the part of what we're talking about today where we have question and answer. Before I turn it over to you, however, I first want to say once again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about this. I am so passionate about peer-to-peer fundraising. You all are so passionate about peer-to-peer fundraising and your mission, and I think this is a great combination. So please know, we've said it many times, but please know that if your personal needs are such that you need to help with technology, Zuri Group is here. If you want to schedule some time to talk with me as a strategist on what you can, that is all very possible. You can work through your normal Zuri support channels in order to get there, or you can reach out to me directly. But we want to make sure that you know that you're supported. And I'll also say that, you know, I sit here in a very different scenario than you all do, because this is your real life and this is your budget and your goals. And but I do want to just close by letting you know that this also comes from years of experience. I actually was a fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society on September 11th. Or when September 11th occurred. I was actually in my office just a few miles from the Pentagon when September 11th, when the plane hit in DC, and it turned it. You know, everybody who also worked during that time can kind of go back and remember. We were shattered as a nation during that. Everything once again was up for grabs, and while the situation that we're looking at right now is very different from the one that we saw on September 11th, I was a fundraiser. I was in your shoes. My job was to build the community that was lost when September 11th happened, to rebuild that community, to come back together, and really to give people an outlet for doing things at a time when they didn't know what to do. And we're all in this situation together, but we can absolutely be that bright moment in somebody's day. We can come back together. The world will repair itself and we will adjust to whatever is next with us. But in the meantime, a virtual event can really brighten up a rainy spot in somebody's day. So I thank you. I can't wait to hear your questions and answers. And it's been a privilege giving you this information. So I appreciate it. Kim, take it away.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Carly. So we did have a question during the presentation from Ryan, and he asked, what would you suggest our agency live stream when the bowling alleys are closed? That does present a little bit more of a challenge, doesn't it? So, and I think Carly, you kind of talked about, you know, maybe doing some live streaming from home. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I definitely can. Yeah, that is where the creativity is going to have to come from. When we're talking about this, we are making the assumption that you can't go to your bowling alley. And certainly we want to make sure that we, you know, continue to support the local businesses that are dealing with this at this time, but it's not a possibility. This is an opportunity to live stream your bowling session from home. You can, and that's what this is all about. So if you're a fundraiser, you would, you know, create a link and live stream it and send it up through, and so everybody can see it on Instagram, Facebook, or through Engaging Network's homepage, however that goes forward. But you can also live, and then that's what you would share. You would share other people's live streams. You would share their videos. You'd share their screenshots, because yes, this is unfortunately not going to be in a bowling alley. I also would like to say that in my vision of what happens with y'all, people are creating at-home bowling alleys. They're going to be pretty makeshift. And I think that's what makes it fun about this, to be very honest. I couldn't set up a bowling alley in my living room, but I could find some cans and a ball to knock them over, maybe. And that's what makes this fun. So no, we are talking about not going into a bowling alley. You're not going to be live streaming. You're going to be doing it from home. And that's where the creativity and excitement comes in. That answer your question?
Right. Yeah, well, and I wanted to add a little bit to that, that, you know, the other piece of that, of how you could tie it together as the agency is, you know, maybe your CEO or executive director or events coordinator does have kind of like a live stream that they're streaming from home, and they're posting a running commentary, and they could be like, you know, it's kind of like this, right? You're basically hosting a meeting, hosting a webinar, hosting a group, and you could get creative with how you, you post people's comments, or you check back on the site, or you call out fundraisers, and, you know, you're basically like running a live television broadcast, but, you know, from your home about your event, talking about your event, showing examples of, you know, people participating from home. You know, you could almost like make it a telethon if you wanted to, and call people from home on your live stream, be like, hey, I saw your video, it was great, tell us how you came up with that idea, or, you know, all those kind of things, like really trying to get creative with the broadcast, the brainstorming, the, you know, what else could you look at, and you know, call out to people.
Great. Yeah, and I'll also bring into, Kim, you popped my memory that, you know, one of the other cool things about live streaming is that everybody's going to be able to comment on the bowling as it's happening. So perhaps your bowlers, you encourage your bowlers to, I don't know, like, I'm just thinking, like, throw it down the air quotes again, lane in a funny way, and they give money. It's, you know, I think actually too, this is a great way of saying, like, you're going to open this up to the creativity, and you can certainly, you know, guide it down the path. But what you're going to see in return is that your constituents, your bowlers are going to they're going to take what you did, and they're going to next level it. So, you know, you've got to just start the motion and let the ball roll, as long as it's legal and as long as it's appropriate. But you can let the ball roll.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, Carly, maybe we can come up with a brainstorm list of, you know, like things people could do during their live stream. And that might be a good, like, seed list for affiliates. So we will follow up with that. Okay, here's a good one about handling your sponsors from Cassidy. So Cassidy asks, what is something you would recommend saying to presenting sponsors who have paid $10,000 already for this? What do you recommend telling them or offering to them?
I agree. I hear you on this one. Yes, because that money is important and that money is necessary. I don't believe that there should be a situation, because we're all in this together. I think I've said that 75 times today alone, that your sponsor is going to want their money back or pull out of it. Instead, I actually feel like your sponsor is going to love the idea of a virtual event. Your sponsor might also want to encourage their companies to join you. If they haven't done that already, they might encourage their employees this might be a great corporate responsibility opportunity that they didn't see coming. So I wouldn't walk into a meeting with a sponsor about the money and be worried that it's going to go away. I would walk into you're not walking into many meetings these days, I'd assume, calling into meetings these days, and you are saying, this is what we're going to do instead, and this is where, you know, we can pop your sponsor logos up on that live stream page that we were talking about. Engaging Networks makes it very we can go in with a little code and add all your sponsors on there. We can figure out a way to help you do that. It really is going to push and promote. Sponsors love viral opportunities just as much as they love in-person opportunities. And so there you go on that. You know, the one thing I will say when I was thinking about this is, and I mentioned it, that the bigger situation right now is unfortunately the bowling alley where you were possibly going to hold your event probably isn't open right now. And that's a shame. I live in Austin, Texas, and everybody's the same thing, but in here we have a lot of service industry people who are really, really concerned. So and maybe if the word to the sponsor is, if you don't want to sponsor this virtual event anymore, would you consider giving a little bit of that to the bowling alley? I don't know what that means. I am just saying that would be something that's in my head, not saying that that's something you should do, but that's what I would sort of look into, is other ways that this can be used. But I don't think your sponsor is going to want their money back. I think they're going to applaud your effort, to be honest. I hope that helps.
Great. Yeah, and also Alicia posted that the letters put together by the national office address the question of how to message this to sponsors who have already paid. So there are some resources in brand folder for that as well.
Great.
So that's great. Okay, we have another question here from Megan. Do you recommend an event on the same day or an extended period or a bowling week? What's our recommendation of how, do we stretch it out? Do we consolidate it? What are your thoughts on that, Carly?
Well, this is a good question, not something I had thought of, but I always have an answer. I think that it is up to you. I think that we're in a situation right now where you don't have to limit time. You could, in theory. One of my colleagues is listening in on the call, and she was like, wouldn't it be fun if everybody just bowled from home on the same day? Yeah, that'd be super fun. And if that's the way you want to go with it, then that's the way you go with it. But it would help from a social media standpoint, meaning your quote unquote attendance at these virtual events, or you'd be able to manage it a lot better if it was spread out over the week. And that's a possibility too. But I feel like in this environment, we've got no right or wrong answers. I can say that if I was looking at this, if I was sitting literally in your shoes, I probably would make it a week-long event, just because you don't want to put people in a box at this time. We're in enough boxes already, but maybe make it a week-long. You could make it the same week that you were already going to bowl, and just open up that opportunity, but it's going to be something a little bit more than a week.
If I could interject, Carly.
Yeah.
I had a thought behind this as well, and I like your idea behind a week-long event, but instead of like doing something every day, maybe just sending out a post or a short video, like letting everybody know, like, hey, on Friday night at 6 o'clock, we're going to go live and we're going to review all of your guys' videos that you sent to us or that you've created on Instagram and Facebook. And then we're going to talk about them, and we're going to, like promote the top fundraisers, promote all of the top companies that have been involved, and kind of make that your live stream, is kind of giving back to the community in a sense, and then doing something on top of that. So it can be, each day something is happening throughout the week, and then Friday is the end, the finale, the climax of the entire week.
I think that's great. That's fun. You could do that could be like the kickoff, or that could be the event recap, or the volunteer thank you, or the event thank you. I like that.
Great. Yeah. And I like that, because then you have content. If you wanted to live stream, let's say you wanted to live stream for an hour on that culminating date and time, which, I would maybe recommend that it coincides with the event date and time that you originally had. But, the week leading up to it is encouraging people to do those at-home bowling, to make those posts, to post their scores, to play the video game or the virtual game, all that stuff. And then you do like an hour live stream, and then that's your content, right? Calling out, giving shout outs to those people, playing their videos, and talking about them. So I guess the answer is both. Okay.
The answer is anything. I think anything goes.
Anything goes.
Point, but why?
Yeah.
But why limit when you don't have there's not a limitation necessarily. I wouldn't let it go at whenever. I would put it within a time frame, but a week is better than a day, I think, at this point.
Totally. Great. Okay. So another question came in about Facebook fundraisers or Facebook fundraising sites. So, there are affiliates who are using the Engaging Networks platform. There's affiliates who are using other platforms, but let's talk about, where does the, actual like Facebook fundraising come into play on these virtual events?
Yeah, I love this question. So thank you to whoever asked it. And I am a huge proponent of Facebook fundraising. In fact, when I was in my last role as a nonprofit fundraiser, I developed an entire strategy around collecting donations and in stewarding fundraisers through fundraising directly through Facebook. Because as we all know, with the challenge of Facebook is that there's limitations on the data and there's limitations on how we get it. But I also am in full agreement with, I think, everybody, where now is not the time to build up barriers against giving, because we don't know what the day holds, or we don't know what days hold. And so it is a better opportunity to open up all platforms of giving that you can at this point. And Facebook fundraising is a great one of those. People at today are looking for things to do. They are on Facebook all the time. While I don't necessarily see as much Facebook fundraising tracking this week as I do in usual weeks, I think that that's temporary. And I think that if you are a chapter, an affiliate that uses Facebook fundraising, use it for this too. Don't forget that you as an organization, you can create a Facebook fundraiser to collect general donations. So maybe that's an opportunity for you as well. Because if your live stream or if your event, your virtual event goes larger, you're going to want a place that people pop in and just make a general donation. Perhaps that is Facebook fundraising. So I love Facebook fundraising, and I love it so much that we've created a strategy here at Zuri Group to guide and assist organizations like yours through Facebook fundraising, stewarding those donors using Facebook and seeing increased success. So if that is something that down the line you would like to to talk about, or if this, I do that all the time for our clients because that's what I know how to do. And I know that's what I know how to fundraise. And at any time like this, it can't hurt, right? Wasn't that what I said about virtual events? And I think Facebook fundraising falls in that. So don't limit that. If you're an affiliate that's not sure, we can talk about whether you should get that started or not. But if you're an affiliate that already has it, just take down all the barriers and let it come as it goes. That's what I say right now.
Great. Okay, well, that was our last question, and we're also just about to an hour, so I think this is a good time to wrap up. If you do have additional questions, or you're an existing Zen client and would like to talk about putting some of these things into place on your website or Engaging Networks platform, reach out to us. We're here to help. Probably the best way to get a hold of us is emailing support@zurigroup.com, and we have our team of support consultants, including Jordan, standing by to help on these things. And then if you're looking for some more of the strategic consulting, or you're using a different platform, or need some other assistance and you're not already a Zuri Group or Zen client, you can reach out to Carly or myself. Our email addresses are both just our first name, so Carly@zurigroup.com or Kim@zurigroup.com. I can go back to that slide that has our email addresses on it. And just thank you. Thank you for attending today. Thank you for participating. Thanks for all you do to serve children. And we're in some uncertain times, but we're just going to try to roll through them and do everything we can to, stave off the negative circumstances and make this fundraising season, if not we'd love to make it a smashing success, but if we can just make it, a moderate success, I think we'll all be a little bit happy in the end. So thanks again. Any parting words, Carly?
No, but I completely agree. I chuckled at moderate success, and this is a place where moderate success is going to be a smashing success. So go forth and goal, everyone. Thank you for your time. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.